I was losing my hair here about 2 years ago. And so my hairdresser, Paul, basically said he think it would be a good idea for me to get a transplant and to look into it. And I looked into it and I went to Ireland and I have had a hair transplant.
This video has been brought to you by GoFiber. Enter your pictures and win a 1-year supply of GoFiber. It's easy to enter. Order a free sample, take a clear before and after pictures and send them to selfie@gofiber.com.
Hey guys, welcome back. Matt here. You are watching my hair loss and hair transplant related channel where it's all about stopping our hair loss, getting our hair back and a hair transplant. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about Sam Smith's hair transplant and giving you my detailed breakdown as far as how many grafts I think he got, my estimation on whether it was FUE or FUT, whether he's taking medication or not, which clinic did he go to, and of course offer you my whole summary at the end as far as do I support his decision as he did it or not? Do I think it was a good idea or not? Let's start with this video. Alright guys, first things first, let's start with Sam Smith's hair loss situation before his actual hair transplant. We can already see some hair loss progression in his case. He's already becoming like a Norwood 2, potentially Norwood 3 hair loss case, despite his hairline being still very low, okay? If we take a look at the distance between the start of the hairline and the glabella, which is the midpoint right here, it's pretty low forehead, okay? But what's definitely already receded are his corners, okay? So naturally, we would think that these are the areas where he would want to get his hair transplant, to frame his forehead a little bit more, to give his hairline a little bit more straighter look. But funny enough, this is not what he went for. The hairline was not the main concern of him. And if we take a look at some photos from even 2019 or even 2020, we'll see that the shape of his hairline did not change that much, although I think that the doctors also implanted some hair on the transition between the temples and the hairline. But the main region or main focus point was kind of the border of central forelock or frontal forelock and mid-scalp, as you can see here. This is the thinning area where he was diffusely thinning and it was pretty much narrowing down the whole frontal forelock, while the hairline with the widow's peak was still pretty dominant and pretty thick looking. So this was exactly the area that was making him insecure, and that was the area where he had been using a lot of hair fibers. As you can see in this video, this is like an interview from like Ellen DeGeneres talk show back in 2017, and you can just see how he's wearing hair fibers on his whole top. It's just looking more dense and brown and powdery. If you are looking a lot at these before after photos of fibers and transplants, you start kind of picking up on these details or little nuances. So it's obvious to you that he's wearing hair fibers in here to kind of camouflage the denser looking front with the denser looking mid-scalp and crown. And he wanted to make this diffusely thinning spot between the hairline and mid-scalp more dense with the fibers. As far as the clinic, we know, at least Sam mentioned that he went to Ireland for his hair transplant, and
I looked into it and I went to Ireland and I have had a hair transplant.
what would be a better place in Ireland to get a hair transplant than Dublin? In Dublin, we have around 4 or 5 hair transplant clinics. At least if you type on Google, I'm sure you will find many others, but there are only 2 reputable clinics in Ireland, in the capital, in Dublin. The first one is Hair Restoration Blackrock with 2 doctors, Dr. Maurice Collins and Dr. Joseph O'Connor. And the second hair transplant clinic is also in Dublin, where Dr. Andre Nell is the main doctor. These 2 clinics are also known for doing hair transplants on celebrities, like celebrity hair transplants from UK or Ireland, people who are on like radio, television, like soccer players or golf players, as you can see here, or different social media stars or influencers, as you can see here. But Hair Restoration Blackrock is like more known for doing like celebrity hair transplants. So that's for me like another additional reason why I think that Sam Smith actually went to Hair Restoration BlackRock. So that would be definitely my guess. I like the Hair Restoration BlackRock more because this clinic, I consider it to be more reputable. Their results are really good. I love how they can start the hairline. The hairlines are very soft. They can do a wonderful repair, as you can see in this case where the guy has this island of hair on the front which has been left and the rest is bald, and look how wonderfully they can start the hairline around it. It's just amazing. All right guys, now let's talk about the number of grafts that Sam Smith got implanted. At least I'm going to try to estimate it as precisely as possible.
But I was losing my hair here about 2 years ago.
If we take a look at the before picture here, we'll see that the areas where most of the grafts were implanted were these. This one on the left and this on the right. I don't know how healthy or how strong his hair was exactly in the middle, okay, between these two regions in the frontal forelock. I assume they did not do a lot of implantation there. Maybe they have already kind of advised him to start with finasteride prior to the transplant, so they didn't maybe even touch this region. So my estimation would be definitely 2,000 grafts and maybe 2,200 or 2,300 in case they have used more density than I think they used for this central part of the frontal forelock, which I'm not sure. Because even if we take a look at the hair density right now on these areas, it's like a conservative density. It's not like super dense, and I think that the density may be around 40-ish grafts per square centimeter. I don't think they did a lot of work on the hairline. As we can see on the before and after photo here, his hairline shape didn't change that much, to be honest. Especially if we compare the buzz cuts from 2015-16 or 17 and 2020. Really, I don't see much difference there. Maybe, and I think they actually might have put some hair on the corners here to kind of frame the corners, but not much. Many of you may be like, yeah, he should have just started with finasteride and stay on finasteride for 2-3 years and then get a transplant. But you know, he doesn't want to waste time with waiting like until finasteride or whether finasteride will work sufficiently for him. So he just got a transplant. I can understand that totally. He has a lot of money. His donor looks decent, good coverage properties, which is slightly curly hair. It's very good hair for a hair transplant. So I'm with him on that. I'm like, why not get a transplant? All right, guys, I was thinking long about whether it's going to be FUE or FUT, but based on this video, I kind of excluded the possibility of FUT because I really don't see any signs of a strip scar or any signs of linear scar, which by the way would need to be at least 12 to 15 centimeters long, which is not possible there, okay? Assuming his average donor area density around 80 grafts times probably 22.5 square centimeters, meaning 1.5 scar width times 15 scar length equals 22.5 square centimeters times 80 grafts per square centimeters density would make it 1,800 grafts. Look, I don't see there. Is there a chance that he actually got FUT and then got some scalp micropigmentation and scar revision? Of course it's possible. Maybe it was the case, but I would say it was FUE. At the end, here's my conclusion on the whole hair transplant of Sam Smith. And whether he got FUE or FUT, I'm really happy that he only went with like 2,000 grafts. At least it seems like that. Really, like the change isn't as drastic in my opinion. If we take a look especially at the hairline, the change is not a big change, of course. So he just covered the areas that were making him the most insecure. He didn't want to go with some crazy straight hairline or anything like that. Now, let's be honest, if you are getting a hair transplant when you are like 26, like Sam Smith, God knows whether he was on finasteride prior, God knows whether he is taking finasteride right now. Of course, I'm sure the clinic counsel or must have counseled him on the medication side of the whole coin. it's up to him whether he's taking it or not. But I'm happy he went conservative. He didn't go with some crazy density or anything like that. And if it was FUT, even better for him, because you know, guys, if you are starting with FUT first and then finishing up with some multiple FUEs, it's always more likely that you are going to be able to use your potential of the donor better way. I didn't do that. I started with FUE. Was it a mistake? Maybe. I don't know. We will see in 10, 15, 20 years. So far, I'm happy because I like to shave my sides and back on like 1 millimeter. So if I had a strip scar, I would have needed like extra FUE or body hair transplant implant, have some hair implanted in the scar, SMP and so on. I don't need it, okay, because I started with FUE. Of course, it's a benefit for me. It's good right now, but it doesn't mean it's gonna be the best long-term strategy, okay? And if Sam Smith actually started with FUT, that means he still has so much donor hair for multiple FUEs or for another large FUT and then some other FUEs and body hair. So I'm not sure whether he's on medication, but I think it would be a smart thing to do medication in his case. He's 28, to be honest. He's still young. Being on oral finasteride in his case is very important because he got hair transplant in the central region and mid-scalp region where he has still a lot of existing hair which still has potential to miniaturize. So if the doctor does a hair transplant in these areas with some native hair present, it's always great to put the patient on finasteride first so the hair will be strengthened and the shock loss will be less, and the hair loss, potential hair loss in the future in this area after initial hair transplant will be also minimized if the patient will be put on finasteride. So that's pretty much my summary on the whole hair transplant of Sam Smith. Let me know how you enjoyed this video, guys. Comment below in case you have any questions. And for all of you guys who are interested in a hair transplant, you may want to check out my website mattdominance.com where I put a nice free ebook for you, which is called 5 things or 5 mistakes I have done before my first hair transplant, things I don't want you to repeat, things I want you to learn from in case, in order for you to do a proper hair transplant research and find a proper hair transplant doctor. As you know, it's 2020, there are many hair transplant traps, there are many hair transplant clinics that are unlicensed, they're unproven, they have great marketing, but their quality sucks. The doctor involvement in these clinics sucks. Their ability to create a naturally looking hairline sucks, and so on and so on and so on. So have fun doing your hair transplant research in 2020. Of course not. Just kidding, guys. There's so many good, valuable videos already put on YouTube, blog posts and resources online where you can learn a lot about how to get your hair transplant the proper way, including my website mattdominance.com/mentoring, where you can even apply for a one-on-one consultation with me, where I'm going to be more than happy to assist you throughout your hair transplant research, as I already did with many of my clients. And you can find some of their results also on my website mattdominance.com/mentoring. You can find their before and afters, you can find their testimonials, reviews, and so on. That can give you also more insight into what exactly we are discussing in the consultations and how these consultations could help you. I hope you learned a lot from this video, and in case you have any more questions, comment below. As always, happy to help you out, guys, with these topics, and yeah, see you in the next video.